Hey, I'm Grant Reynolds from Parcelle Wine. This is hands down the most common question that we get, how to figure out what a wine may taste like based off of just checking out the label.
Oh, you ought to know by now, man. It's Santana. Yeah, now when the beef's on.
I pulled out 2 bottles of wine, one of which is a German wine that gives you so much technical information right on the label, and then a bottle of French red natural wine that gives you next to nothing.
I push your melon out, then get back to the block, the package, the rock, baggies.
German wine labels have so much information on them. We have the producer, Keller. We have a Keller family crest. 2020 is the vintage, it should always be on there. Riesling, it's great. Cabernet, it's a style of Riesling, means there's a little bit of sugar in there. Limestone, that was a choice by Keller. Put it on there to tell you that these grapes were grown on limestone, therefore they have a lighter taste, pretty nuanced information. And then Rheinhessen, that's the region where Keller represents. Now, if I don't know anything about Keller, I look at this bottle. It's tall, it's skinny, that's mostly used for Riesling. What else can I get out of the label if I know nothing? The first thing I look for on the back label is the alcohol level. It can also be on the front of the label. The alcohol level is going to tell me about the wine is how sweet the wine is or how rich the wine is. Most dry white wines rest between 12% and 14.5% alcohol. The lower the alcohol in a dry wine, the lighter, crisper the wine, the higher the alcohol, very generally speaking, bigger, richer, rounder white wine. For white wine, if the alcohol level is, call it, below 12%, chances are there's a little bit of sugar in the wine left over in fermentation. ALC 9.0%, so it's 9% alcohol per volume. After I look at the alcohol level, the next thing I really like to do is I look for the importer. Nowadays, there's some amazing importers out there. They have a clear point of view. If I know nothing about the bottle of wine, if I see the importer on the back label, for me, it's a green light. There's some importers that are really natural focused, so if I see their stamp, it'll give me a better indication as to how the wine's going to taste. There's some importers that are more classic focused. I just trust them as curators of their portfolio that the wine is going to be better than if it's an importer who I don't really know and don't recognize. So you walk into a wine shop, you see a cool label with nice graphics and font, but you look at it, it just says something like bottleneck, some French name, and really nothing else. You have no idea what this wine's going to taste like. First 2 steps are to check out alcohol level and then the importer. If you're looking at a dry red wine, start around 12% nowadays. It's really low. We're going over 14.5% alcohol, especially if you see something that's above 15.5% alcohol. That's a lot of alcohol per volume in the wine. That means that the wine's going to be pretty jammy, fruity, and definitely richer in flavor. What higher alcohol means in red wines, it means that the wine is really ripe, it's boozy. High alcohol levels taste sweet, they taste rich. 13%, pretty low nowadays. It means it's definitely going to be a little bit of a lighter style, higher acid, so crisper, more refreshing style of red wine. Check out the importer on the back, Steven Graff, selected by Fifi. These guys are some of the original natural wine importers. This wine is definitely a natural wine. Opens up a bit more of a gamble as far as what it's going to taste like. Another hard thing about this bottle of wine is you don't get the grape. If a wine says Vin de France, or in Italy it says Vino da Tavola, that's the broadest classification of wine. It can be a whole blend of different grapes. It can be from really anywhere within the country. There's really nothing that's being said if it says Vin de France. So my best guess is that this is obviously it's a French wine, it's a red wine, it's 13% alcohol. I'm thinking this is probably a light to medium red chances are it's a blend of a few different grapes, and because it's from a natural importer, chances are there's probably going to be some more kind of wild, spicy, savory flavors with the wine as well. Truthfully, I've never had this wine before. I really don't know anything about it, but we're gonna check it out. Yummy. I don't really know what the grapes are again, but it's really berry, floral, really tasty. So another thing with red wines, you don't get this as much with white wine, is the vintage of the wine. That doesn't mean you need to know whether it's a good vintage or what the weather was like, but you need to know that if a wine is older, that wine was aged longer in oak or other barrels, and therefore will taste a lot different. This is a 2021. For me, that's an indication that this is going to be a lighter, really fruity, floral style of red wine. So I'm going to put it on ice and drink the rest of the wine tonight.